Kwaminat TV. Promoting African businesses home and abroad. Kwaminat TV. The best and the only way to sell your brand to the world. Kwaminat TV. Promoting
Ghana. She basically had to fight against the British when they came to Ghana. What she did was she used her pistol to hit the slave master's head, and he collapsed and died instantly in her village. And then her village is called Bukere. So when you go back to Bukere today, she's a hero to the people. And they say Tandungala Lebgezen, which means the pistol turned into blood. And then the pistol, like, is what they used to pound fufu. And then in the north, people used to pound millet.
The stick one, yeah.
Yeah, there. So she basically just killed the slave master. And then Queen T from Ancient Kemet. Ancient Kemet is now known as Egypt. She was a very powerful and influential queen in the 18th dynasty. And then she had she also did and then this is Marcus Garvey from Jamaica. Marcus Garvey was the leader of the largest black organization, the UNIA. This was the largest black organization in the world. And Marcus Garvey was basically trying to let black people be respected around the world. And then he had the famous quote I read, happy mighty ways you can accomplish what you will. It was basically telling black people in America and all around the world to keep fighting, and they'll accomplish what they wanted to accomplish. And Marcus Garvey was also a Pan-Africanist. He was like a very strong Pan-Africanist. And then we have Kwame Nkrumah here by Marcus Garvey, because Kwame Nkrumah was inspired by Marcus Garvey. He was also a Pan-Africanist, and we got the Black Star and the Ghana flag today from the Black Star line of Marcus Garvey. And then Kwame Nkrumah was the first president of the First Republic of Ghana. He also gave this quote. He read all these other books written by other people, Europeans, white Europeans. But then Marcus Garvey's book was the one that really made him start like thinking like an African, and then like thinking about how black people could like liberate themselves from the world. And then Jonas Kabu from New Lingo, where we are right now, was basically the founder of New Lingo. And then Tejanga the First was the first chief. Yeah, brought in by Jonas Kabu. Yeah.
Oh wow.
So Johnson, who drew this or artists?
So these the different artists. We had like about 6 guys, do different all these different people.
Oh, wow. Let me see over here.
Okay, so this is Eve, Mother of Humanity. Eve was her group of people. The main reason why Eve was here is to let people know that the first humans, or the first human species, that's Homo sapiens, were Africans, and then they originated from the eastern part of Africa, and they migrated to Europe like 40,000 years ago, which wasn't like so long. And then Eve was like we have people ask, like when people come here, they ask, why isn't like Adam
and Eve?
Yeah, why isn't Adam on the wall? And then but then we just put her here because like she was a woman, not like we are being like trying to like against men or anything, but then because she was a woman, but then she's basically here to let people know that the first humans were Africans. And then they went to Europe, and then they changed to white because they didn't need a lot of melanin to protect them from the sunlight, because to protect them from getting like a lot of vitamin D from the sunlight. So when they went to Europe, they lost the melanin, and the Chinese have like small eyes because it's very like windy when you go to China. So they had the small eyes.
So they just protected, make their eyes like this. Yeah.
And then Chinua Achebe from Nigeria. Chinua Achebe was he was a teacher, and then he was also a writer. He wrote a lot of novels. His famous book was Things Fall Apart.
Yeah.
It was like bestseller for so many.
Yes.
Yeah. And then Asa Hilliard from the US to Ghana. He was a psychiatrist. psychologist. He studied psychology. He was also a teacher. He encouraged a lot of young African Americans to move to Ghana and other African countries. He also he was crowned as a king, a chief in the central region. And then Yasankwa, we all know Yasankwa. She had to fight against the British when they were trying to demand for the Golden Sea, and then when they captured them. She was also the Queen Mother of Egypt. And then so she basically had to fight against the British. And then Dedan Kimathi from Kenya. Dedan Kimathi was the leader of the Kikuyu Land Freedom Army. The British called them the Mau Maus. So he basically had to fight against the British because the British wanted to take away their best lands. So he fought against the British, but then he was also like betrayed by some people, and then the British finally captured him. And when they captured him, he was killed, beheaded. And this picture is actually taken when they're about to kill him. Yeah.
Okay.
And then Nzinga Mbani from Angola. Nzinga Mbani had to fight against the Portuguese. And then we have Sergeant Collins Ajeti from Ghana. He was part of the 3 ex-servicemen that were shot when they marched to the Koshambe Castle by the British General Imre.
Yeah.
And then they struck that car right soon. That's the release of the Big Six coming on. And then we have Maurice Bishop from Grenada. Maurice Bishop was he was basically just trying to let Grenada be free. He made sure that Grenada had a lot of people. He made sure a lot of people in Grenada were educated. He increased the level of literacy, and then he made sure there was less exports than imports. And then but then after Grenada had already gained their independence, but then Queen Elizabeth was still their head of state. So he was basically trying to let Grenada be free. But then the Americans didn't like it, so they bombed Grenada because they didn't want other African islands, small islands like Grenada,
As usual.
that they can do something like fend for themselves. So they ended up killing him and then destroyed the whole nation. Grenada. And then we have the Namilton warriors from Dahomey. Dahomey is now known as Benin. And then the name Namilton means our mothers in form. So she had to fight against the French. And then Edward Wilmot Gladden from St. Thomas, Liberia. He was believed to be the father of Pan-Africanism. He inspired Marcus Garvey and then Kwame Nkrumah. He basically just started the whole idea. And then Steve Biko from South Africa. Steve Biko was fighting against apartheid in South Africa. And then he had his own organization, but then he was also caught later on, he was caught by the police in South Africa,
yeah.
and then they beat him to death. And then Sani Ali from the Songhai Empire. We had 3 great empires. That's the Mali, Songhai, and then Ghana. It was actually Ghana. Ghana was the first one.
Ghana Empire.
And had Mali, and Songhai was the last and largest. So he was basically in charge of trade. He had over 400 to 500 ships on the Niger River, and then so basically they were just doing their own thing before the Arabs came from
Nowhere. Yeah.
And then the Hansen from Dahomey, he also had to fight against the French. Maya Makiba from South Africa, she was a musician. She sang about apartheid. So most of her songs, she also tried to encourage people with AIDS, women with AIDS, and then other stuff. But then she was sent out of South Africa for 31 years. And then I'm not really sure if it was 31, but then some years she was exiled from South Africa. So when she went out of South Africa, she got married to Kwame Stokely Carmichael. That was his name. He's also down the wall. So she was basically just trying to fight against apartheid in South Africa. And then Sheikh Anta Diop from Senegal. Sheikh Anta Diop was an Egyptologist. He was some of the people who proved that ancient Kemet or Egypt was a black civilization. And how he proved this was by testing the mummies. And the mummies are the bodies that had been preserved, the ancient bodies, the dead bodies that had been preserved. And then he was able to test them to see how much melanin they had or contained. And then they contained a very high level of melanin. And the only people who really have a high level of melanin are blacks, are African. And then J.J. Dessalines from Haiti. J.J. Dessalines had to fight against the Napoleon's army or the French army. And then they were able to defeat the French army. And it was the greatest army at the time. Haiti was first called, the country, when the French took over Haiti, the original people in Haiti, now Haiti, called it Haiti. Haiti.
Haiti, yeah.
Yeah. And then when the French took over, the French gave it a different name called Saint-Domingue. And then when JJ Dessalines and Toussaint Louverture took over, like was able to like help Haiti or
Saint-Domingue
game part. They changed the name back to Haiti.
to Haiti, yeah.
And then George Washington Carver from the US. George Washington Carver was agriculturist, but he was also a teacher. He taught in the Tuskegee University, and then he was very like he knew a lot about plants. He made a lot of stuff using legumes. He was also known as a peanut butter man because he did a lot of like agricultural stuff with peanut butter and then just basically plants. He knew a lot about plants. And then Julius Nyerere from Tanzania. Julius Nyerere was a first president of Tanzania after they gained their independence. He was also a Pan-Africanist. He was trying to help other countries that hadn't gained their independence, and he's trying to help them gain their independence. And then we have Efimamu from Ghana. Efimamu was basically he sang the national anthem, or he composed the Ghanaian national anthem, and then he was basically just trying to let black people still maintain their culture, keep their culture. And then we have Harriet Tubman from the US. Harriet Tubman was she took slaves from the southern part of America to the northern part of America. Yeah, and then they called they had the railroads and the ground railroads. That's like a secret passage where she sent slaves from the southern part of America
to the north, yeah.
And then we have Samuel Marshall. Samuel Marshall was trained to be a nurse, but then he ended up being a soldier or a warrior. He had to fight against the Portuguese when they came to
Mozambique.
Yeah, and then it's believed that he was killed, he was killed in a plane crash.
Samuel Marshall, yeah, 1986, yeah.
And then Nani from Ghana to Jamaica, it's believed that her name was Nana, but then when she was sent to Jamaica, then they changed her name to Nani. And then she was the leader of the Maroons. She would take slaves from the plantations and send them to the mountains. So she has her own town in Jamaica called the Nani Town.
Nani Town, yeah.
So, yeah. And she's also in the Jamaican currency. And then Haile Selassie from Ethiopia. Haile Selassie was born into royalty in Ethiopia. And when you're born in royalty, his real name was Tafari. And when you're born in royalty in Ethiopia, they give you the name Rasta,
yeah, Haile, yeah.
So when you put together, you have Rastafari. So the Rastafari term that they used to do is actually his name. And then he was also some of the people who started the African Union.
Yeah.
And then Piyanki from ancient Kemet or Egypt, he was the last pharaoh of the last black dynasty of Kemet. And then Shaka from South Africa. Shaka was a warrior. He was the king or leader of the Zulu Empire. He fought against the British when they're trying to take over his empire. And then he had different tactics which he used against the British, and he also conquered other kingdoms. So the Zulu Empire was very big, so it's very difficult for the British to take over the whole empire. And then we have Fannie Lou Hamer from the US. Fannie Lou Hamer was one of the people who fought for black people in America to gain the right to vote. She had this very, very famous quote, "I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired." That's by her. So it's basically just trying to let black people vote. Because the white people, white Americans, not all, the ones that were in high power, weren't allowing black people to vote in America. So she basically, she was just fighting for that. And then Togosi, the first from Togo to Ghana, he had to he brought the animals from Togo to Ghana. And then it's believed that they walked backwards from Togo to Ghana. And then
Mandela. You don't know Mandela. Okay.
No, that's
What happened?
the reason why we don't have the picture of Mandela is because this what Daddy always says. He's always yeah, because he's always we have his wife there, and then Daddy's always he'll put Nelson Mandela there when Winnie Mandela tells him to put him there. Yeah, he's not on this one too. And then, the main reason why some people are not here is because the war hasn't been finished. Because
They're
they're
gonna
still
go all the
planning-
way around.
Yes,
Yes,
so-
that's a side as well.
Yeah. And then so Kentucky had the first from Ghana. He was the first Ghana king, and then his statue can be found in the Makola market. And then we have yeah, that's
BC before Christ.
yeah. And then
Menace,
this man is from Kemet.
severity, and serenity.
Menace had to fight. He didn't have to fight, sorry. He was the pharaoh of Kemet, the first pharaoh of Kemet. And the main reason why he has to let people know that the pharaohs of Kemet were black. And then,
Oh, it's Egyptian, isn't it?
yeah, Egyptian Kemet. The people called it
You had to go
Kemet.
to
Yeah.
And then when the Arabs came to Egypt.
To Egypt, yeah.
And then we have Amakaku Brown.
be ruler.
So, Amakaku Brown had to fight against the Portuguese. They were trying to take over Guinea-Bissau. So what he did was that he organized people. They called themselves the Guerrilla Army. They would attack the Portuguese from the bushes, Portuguese camps. They would attack Portuguese camps from the bushes. And then he really caused a lot of damage to the Portuguese because they're killing a lot of Portuguese soldiers. So they had to keep sending dead bodies back to Portugal, which made the youth in Portugal very angry, and then the parents of the soldiers, because they had to keep seeing dead bodies, and they were putting a lot of money to keep fighting against Amakaku and his soldiers. So they lost some of their colonies like Mozambique and Angola, and then just because of him, but then they killed him, and then that's the whole thing. But he was like the main person who fought for the independence of Guinea-Bissau. And then we have Imhotep here from Egypt. Imhotep was the world's first multi-genius. He was also the world's first medical doctor before Hippocrates. He cured more than 42 medical injuries. The name Imhotep means he who comes in peace. He also designed and built the famous step pyramid in Saqqara. And then he was a mathematician, a poet, and archaeologist.
And he was the first doctor.
Yeah,
he
he
was-
was first medical doctor
First medical.
before Hippocrates.
So first medical doctor in the world, isn't it?
And then Toussaint Louverture from
Haiti.
Haiti, he had to fight against the Napoleon's army. That's basically the French, and then he was able to defeat them. And with they captured him, and then because he was trying to fight against the French, but then he was somehow trying to be French, so they invited him for a dinner, and then they captured him and sent him to France to freeze on some cold Alps in France. And then Nabiwa from Ghana. Nabiwa is believed to be the father of the northern region because Nabiwa, his sons and
AC-14.
his sons and grandsons were like the founders of the great empires of in the north, Nanumba, Mampusi. They're all like all the people who founded those empires are all his grandsons and sons. And his daughter, he had a daughter who got married to a Mandi chief. So that's why when you go to Burkina Faso, the southern part of Burkina Faso, the language they speak is related to this
The one in Ghana, yeah.
To the languages
Northern Ghana.
And then was said to be the first from Ghana, the first Ashanti Hene. He basically the whole thing about the
Ashanti King.
Yeah, was at his time. And then
Sankara.
Sankara from Burkina Faso. Now Sankara was one of the presidents of Burkina Faso. He was also basically trying to fight for Burkina Faso to be independent. The French said that he had borrowed some loans, but then he refused to pay them, so they ended up killing him. He was betrayed by his own best friend.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And then Amina Reynolds from Kush is now known as Southern Sudan. She had to fight against the Roman army, and then she was able to defeat them and sign a peace treaty with them for over 300 years. And then Menelik from Ethiopia. Menelik was the one who fought against the Italians, so that Ethiopia won't be colonized. So Ethiopia is the only African country that wasn't forced to be colonized. And then we have Malcolm X from the US. Malcolm X was believed in human rights. He was also fighting for black people in America to gain respect. And then but he was also killed.
Yeah.
And then Chetwaya from South Africa, he was a nephew of Shaka. He also had to fight against the British and the Boers. And we have Akhenaten, his great grandmother was the one, that woman from Kinti. And then he's a father of monotheism. Monotheism is believing in one God. So it was through him, like he founded that religion called monotheism, that the sun god. So it was through him where Christianity and then Islam and then all these other religions came about. And then
Bob Marley.
Bob Marley from Jamaica. Bob Marley was he was also fighting for
So
black
reggae.
people, like for the youth, black
True
people
reggae.
around the world, yeah. Like,
Through
he
the
also
music,
killed.
yeah. Yeah.
And then Wangari Maathai from Kenya. Wangari Maathai was she believed in plants. Like when I said believe isn't the right word, but she was very she was into plants. She planted a lot of trees. And that was when they were being
Into agric.
down. She also won a Nobel
Peace Award.
Yeah, before she died. And then she was also very famous popular for the article she wrote. And then Single PA from Sierra Leone. Single PA was captured as a slave in the boat called the Amistad. They were being sent to Cuba from Sierra Leone. And then he managed to break free from the chains and ropes that were holding him down. And he freed his other shipmates. And then they killed the Spanish captain. And then they tried to take over. They took over the ship. But then they didn't know their way to come back to Africa across the Atlantic Ocean. So they ended up in America. But then slavery was coming to an end there. So the Supreme Court said that all the people from the Amistad could come back to Syria. And then Fred Hampton from the US. Fred Hampton was the chairman of the Black Panther Party in Chicago. He was basically just trying to
Freedom fighter.
Yeah, a freedom fighter. And then but then he was killed at the age of 21.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So,
And then Sama Maharero from Namibia. Sama Maharero had to fight against the Germans. And then Oliver Tambo from South Africa. Oliver Tambo was a writer. He wrote a lot of books basically about about how black people in South Africa are being treated. And then Augustine Neto from Angola. He was the president of Angola. He was also a medical doctor and a poet. And then Elizabeth from Haiti. Elizabeth was a very brave girl from Haiti. She wasn't from Haiti, she was a slave from since captured in Africa in 1680. So she escaped numerous of times. And then the main reason why she says for her bravery, they tried to kill her, they forced her to have a child, but then so that she won't escape. So they tied the child to her legs, and then so she won't escape. But then the child died and she escaped again. So she was basically, she's here for her baby. And then the reason why we don't have the date for when she died is because she escaped and then nobody found her again.
Okay.
No one really knows her. And then Baby Ray from Sierra Leone. Baby Ray had to fight against the British because they were demanding for they wanted the people of Sierra Leone to pay for heart tax, and then the British wanted them to pay in British pounds, and then heart tax is like paying for staying in your own house. It's like
You come in your house until you don't pay.
in British pounds, and then British pounds. The only way they could pay in British pounds was to work for the British.
That's it.
So he didn't agree to that. The people didn't agree to that. So they ended up fighting against the British. The British were trying to bribe the people there, but then nobody would accept a bribe. But then they finally tracked him down and then captured him and sent him brought him to Ghana.
Okay.
And then Felix Ume from Cameroon. Felix Ume was people say he would have been the next president of Cameroon, but then he was killed. When he went to Europe somewhere for a meeting, and they put thallium in his drink, and then it was a very dangerous poison. And then he drank it. He was supposed to come back to Africa, Cameroon, and die, but then the dosage of thallium was too much, so he ended up dying in Europe. And then Sekohuni from South Africa. Sekohuni was he was a warrior. He had to fight against the Boers as a Dutch. And then Handa from Zimbabwe, she was a spiritual warrior. She was the one who brought about the first Chimarenga. And then Martin Luther King from the US. Martin Luther King was fighting for equal rights in America, and then he was able to he was basically trying to fight for equal rights, but then he was also killed. will organize large protests and then like everything. And then Hatshepsut from Kemet, she was the first female pharaoh of Kemet. And then Khalidurat from Libya. Khalidurat was Libya still now southern Sudan. Khalidurat had to fight against the Arabs when they were trying to come to the southern part of Africa. And then he was able to defeated them, conquered the Arabs, and they signed a peace treaty with them for over 700 years. And then Muhammad Ali from the US. Muhammad Ali was the greatest boxer of all times. And then the Americans wanted him to fight for them in the against the Vietnamese, and then he disagreed to fight for them. So they took all his titles away from him, and then he was out of boxing for a while. But then when he came back, he won them. And then Jojo from Senegal, Jojo had to fight against the French because they wanted to take the routes from Senegal to by railroads. They wanted to build railroads in Senegal and then transport goods, and disagreed to that. So he had to go to war with them. And then Antonio Maceo from Cuba, he was like an army general. He had to fight against the Portuguese.
The Spanish?
The Spanish.
Spanish, yeah.
And then so he was like an army general. And like if you go to Cuba, he's very popular around because he's some of the people who helped Cuba
to gain their feet, yeah.
Yes, yeah. And then Patrice Lumumba from Congo. Patrice Lumumba was a president of Congo. He was basically trying to fight for Congo so that they would be able to gain manage their own resources. Because Congo has a lot of resources, diamonds, rubber.
Yeah, the richest country in the world, isn't it?
In
terms of wealth.
Forests too.
Yeah, now.
Yeah. So he was basically trying to fight for the people so that they would be able to manage their own
affairs. Yeah.
Manage their own affairs. But then he was also killed. And his whole government was taken out of power.
Yeah, he was betrayed.
Yeah. And then Kwaminat from Tanzania, he also had to fight against the Germans. And Robert Mugabe from Zimbabwe, he was just put here a few years ago.
Yeah.
So,
he won the independence. He fought the British to win the independence for the Zimbabweans.
And then so we have Elijah Muhammad from the US. Elijah Muhammad was the leader, the founder of the largest black Islam.
Muslim community, yeah. Muslim religion, yeah.
And then he also inspired Malcolm X and then Muhammad Ali and those other
freedom fighters.
And then
civil rights.
Wells from the US, she was fighting against lynching. Lynching was when they hang black people on trees and they had parties and everything. And she was anti-lynching. She was just fighting against lynching. And then John Okello from Zanzibar. John Okello was he had to fight against the Somali Arabs. And then Fela Kuti from Nigeria. The history is getting very big. Fela Kuti from Nigeria. Fela Kuti was an Afrobeat singer. He's believed to be the father of Afrobeat. He sang a lot of songs all around the world. His son came here some few weeks. Actually, I think
a month ago.
Yeah. And then Brazil, Zumbi from Brazil. Zumbi had to fight against the British. So what Zumbi was known for was he had the largest black empire outside of Africa. It was the empire that lasted the longest outside of Africa in Brazil. It was also the Maroons, but then they had a different name. Can't remember the name. But then they called their empire they were different, but then they were more like the Maroons. They would take slaves from the plantations to the north, and then they had their own empire there, like the Nanita. But then I can't remember the name of it. And then Abios Tumasanito from Brazil, he was also a very famous writer in Brazil, all around the world, an African-based writer. And then Sam Nujima from Brazil. Sam Nujima was an activist.
Namibia?
Yes, sorry, from Namibia. From Namibia, he was an activist. He was also like some of the people who are fighting against for like Namibia's independence against the Germans. And then Booker T. Washington from the US. Booker T. Washington was the principal of the Tuskegee University. He was also a very famous writer. And then B.B. King from the US. He was like some of the
musicians,
king of the blues. He called his guitar Lucille, and then he basically played blues. Yeah. And then Watarani from Guyana. Watarani was like he was also a writer. He wrote the book called How Europeans and developed Africa. How the Europeans developed Africa. And then Queen Amina from Zaria. She was like the queen of Zaria, Nigeria. She was some of the people who built. She built actually one of the longest roads in the world. But then it's like it's been broken down. Like you won't be able
No
to
maintenance.
see
Yeah.
And then Eduardo Mondlane from Mozambique. He was also an activist. He was trying to fight against the Portuguese. And then Garth Morgan from the US. Garth Morgan was he invented the traffic lights and the gas mask.
Okay. He's a guy.
What?
The traffic light and gas mask.
Gas mask.
I thought the traffic light came from Ethiopia.
No. It was him.
From what I know, they had invented it in Ethiopia. That's why it has the red, yellow, and green.
No, but then he actually invented it. He made
Matter.
the whole thing like function. And then Franz Fanon from Martinique. Franz Fanon was a psychologist. He went to Liberia, and that's when he got to see how people were being treated after people were being treated in Liberia. And then that's when he started fighting for African people. And he wrote a lot of books, was a writer. And then but he died from cancer. And then John Chilimbe from Malawi. He went to Malawi to study he went outside of Malawi to study Christianity. But then he ended up when he came back to Malawi, he noticed that the British had caused a lot of damage. So he ended up fighting against the British. And then Sekou Touré from Guinea-Bissau. Sekou Touré was the president of Guinea-Bissau. He was very close to Kwame Nkrumah. And then he was fighting against the French.
He was the Guinean president and died there.
And then Caesar from Martinique. Caesar was
Martinique,
a very, great writer from the Caribbean. And then Samuel Touré from Guinea. Samuel Touré was the grandfather of Sekou Touré. He also had to fight against the French. And we have Kwame Touré. He was the husband of Miriam Makeba. His real name was Stokely Carmichael. And then he got the name Kwame from Kwame Nkrumah and the name Touré from
Sekou Touré.
Yeah, he was also a very great Pan-Africanist. That's the main reason why he moved from China. And then John Henry Clark from the US. John Henry Clark was a psychologist. He was also a teacher. He taught in a lot of black universities in America. And Yosef Ben-Yakin from Ethiopia was an Egyptologist. And Winnie Mandela from South Africa, the wife of Nelson Mandela, was also basically fighting against apartheid in South Africa. And Frances Wilson from the US. Frances Wilson was very famous for her. She had her own theory about how black people, the reason why white people in America were treating black people that way. She was also a psychologist. That's what she studied, master degree. So that's basically the end of the war.
That's basically the end of the war. So is the war going to continue?
Yes, it might. But then we are building a library.
Oh, this one is going to be a library. Okay.
I won't be able to see very well.
It's very huge. It's huge.
Yeah. Yeah, like
All going to be library or?
the first floor is going to be a library. The second floor is going to be a multi-purpose room.
Okay. Conference and all
Conference
those.
and, like, organizing programs.
Okay.
Like, people into-
And the last?
And then the very top one is also like
Oh, it's going up or going in it?
no,
You're not sure?
no, it's not.
But the pillars.
Yeah, they have those metal thickets. I don't think so.
Normally, if that
Maybe in the near future.
if those metals are there, that means it's going to go up.
Sure, maybe.
Mm. It's a huge place. So what do you do here, son?
Me,
Mm-hmm.
I'm on vacation. I go to school. I'm on vacation.
You go to school here
Yeah, in Ghana.
in Ghana. Mm.
I'm on vacation.
And your name?
Ernest.
Ernest Johnson. Ernest Johnson.
Yes. So
And you are Ghanaian, American,
we're Ghanaian. Like my dad is American from Los Angeles, but then I'm Ghanaian.
Were you born here?
Yeah, I was born in Ghana.
Mm-hmm.
Lived most of my life in Ghana. So I'm Ghanaian.
So how do you come you know a lot of history about this
From my dad.
from your dad?
Yeah, that's how come I know all these people, because like I hear him talk about them and then everything. So that's like how I
Is your dad a historian?
not like he learned all these people, like he studied about all these people, but then he's not really like a historian can say so. That's not like his profession.
Mhm.
That's like this just what he does, so that like just for the children.
Okay.
That this was actually made for to bring kids here to come and like study about
Or study
black
about black
people. But then
people.
it ended up becoming like a tourist attraction site.
It is. It's going to be even more when we hype it, when we take it up there on YouTube. People are going to come here
Yeah,
because
and Wadimaya was here.
yeah, I heard our Maya was here. Yeah.
Yeah, and then he had like a whole YouTube video. He actually did 2 YouTube videos.
Okay.
One was when he first came, and another one was he raised up like $20,000 for building a library.
Oh, he was here.
Yeah,
Oh yeah. Was here. Yeah. Oh, he was with your dad.
yeah,
With Mama Vera.
yes. So
That's
he
great,
came here
yeah.
to raise things, but then he raised yeah. So he came to give like my dad
Can we go through here?
yeah.
Yeah. Let's go through it. Mm. Okay.
The building over there.
Yeah, that's the building that there.
Library.
Okay. So that is the building that Wadamaya raised money for.
Yeah, that's it.
That's the building. Okay. Because of the trees, you don't see it properly.
You don't see what if
Let's go closer.
okay.
Let's go closer and see. So the donation that the viewers of Wadamaya and other people the money that you guys put together to give it to Wadamaya is the one that's standing here.
But then like my dad was like this like the money that Wadimaya raised hasn't really been used yet.
Yeah.
This is like his own.
So he's gonna fear. So this is where he's going to put into to help
Yes.
finish the place. Yeah. Mm. So that means guys are over there can also donate into it, because this is not a small journey. It's a very huge journey. And to build here in Ghana is very expensive, and mostly something like this. I said it's very expensive because things keep on changing. Even the skeleton is there, but I'm telling you, to finish it up, the money is going to be more or triple than what it's on the ground now. Keep watching Kwaminat TV, like, subscribe and share.
I'm not afraid.
So this is the restaurant of Global African History. And when you come here, hey guys, what food do you have here, basically?
You have red, you have fried rice, you have tilapia, jollof rice, chips,
Yam chip, potato chips. So basically, if you come to Ancestors War, which is war, which you can. There's a great history about this ancestral war, which you can see or know most of the African leaders, the great African, the Pan-Africans that fought for Africa, not only Ghana, Africa. Most of them are all on the wall. How many of them, Johnson? How many of them is on the wall? 92 freedom fighters. I would say freedom fighters. They are all freedom fighters, both from Africa and those who were taken to America and from different, and South America, the Caribbeans, all of them are on the wall. So it's basically a place that when you come here also you can learn something about the great African leaders and the freedom fighters. There's kings and queens and Pan-Africans, freedom fighters, civil rights organization leaders, all of them are on this wall here in Pram Pram. So I'm saying it's a place to visit. Come here, and when you come here too, you can see there's a cultural stools, culture chairs and tables here. Also that when you stand here, you can also see the ocean. Look at it. It's over there. The ocean is over there. That you can see. It's a nice, beautiful view in Pram Pram that you can come and visit. When you come to the country, or if you are even in the country and you don't know this place, you are mixing a lot. Come and learn something. If you have kids, come with your kids. And if you don't have kids, come alone. This is my first time coming here, and I think it's amazing, and I think people need to come and visit. It's a place that we need to patronize. Wherever you live in Ghana, wherever you live in West Africa, wherever you live in Africa, there's a place here to come and visit. And there's a beautiful ocean and good food also around here to eat. The gentleman will give you food to eat, isn't it? What's your name?
Enoch.
Enoch, what do you do here? You take care of this place? So Enoch take care of this place. When you come, you take good care of you. There's a lot of coconut over there. Everything is here. And Johnson will take you around. Ernest Johnson, yeah. Either Ernest or his dad. But now, today, it's him. Yeah, he's taking us around. Amazing. Thank you, buddy. Thank you. Keep it up. Keep supporting your dad. All right. So keep watching Kwaminat TV. If you're not a member of Kwaminat TV, subscribe now and help Kwaminat TV to grow, and also get the good news. And thank you, J-Pop. I got J-Pop with me here. Yeah. I said J-Pop, yeah. J-Pop with me here.
Nice restaurant. Huh?
It is a nice restaurant, and it's a nice view also. When you come here, I mean, you can sit with the fresh air, the sea breeze,
Right.
everything. So we're heading back to Accra now. And
So we're leaving. Do you have? I don't have your number.
I'm gonna give you my number.
So we call.
I'm gonna.
Are you?